So when people think of metal, they may tend to associate it with Satan, death, and the occult. They might also think of the debauchery promoted by the hair and glam bands of the 1980s. But often overlooked are heavy metal's considerable contributions to the canon of protest tunes. Really, it shouldn't be that much of a surprise because the aggression of the music it lends itself to expression, righteous indignation over word conditions. So a while ago, I compiled a list of 100 heavy metal protest songs. And for the sake of variety, I also decided to select one song per artist. So initially, the plan was to post a list on my website along with write-ups for each song. But the reality is I'm probably never going to get around to finishing the write-ups. So instead, I'm going to post a list without write-ups. I'm also going to post a playlist, a Spotify playlist, featuring the 100 songs. In connection with this, I did decide I'll make this video spotlighting the top 10 heavy metal protest songs. And this list will be presented in chronological order. So before we get into the official list, I'd like to mention one honorable mention. That's Cop Carol by Body Count. So the list posted on the website and the Spotify list, I actually chose a different song by Body Count, Shower Grapes. I thought it was worth mentioning this tune by the heavy metal project of Ice-T because it could very well be the most controversial protest song of all time. Definitely one of the most. Like I said, I excluded it mainly because it's been deleted from pressings of the 1992 self-titled debut by Body Count. And even in like 2023, a song cannot be found on any streaming services. And it'll be very rare to find a copy of the self-titled album that features Cop Carol. But, like I said, it is one of the most controversial protest songs of all time. It was also misunderstood as promoting the killing of cops. Instead, the tune was more about expressing anger over police brutality. And we can say it also served as a warning message of what could happen if the situation continues to go unchecked. That's the honorable mention, Cop Carol by Body Count. So we'll now get into the official list. And to begin with, and we mentioned that this will be chronological order. So to begin with, we got War Pigs by Black Sabbath, released in 1970. So really, is there a better starting point than the Godfathers of metal? So this anti-war tune is off of Black Sabbath's classic sophomore album, Paranoid. And the song is a scathing indictment of how the greedy corporate war machine profits off the blood of the poor. So sadly, this anthem of righteous indignation continues to be relevant. Next song on our list is Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne, released in 1980. So this was the debut single off of Ozzy's debut solo album, Blizzard of Oz. And like many songs of this time period, the lyrics effectively articulates the fear of a nuclear annihilation that many felt during the Cold War. And even though the lyrics may be, for the most part, foreboding, it is good to note that there's a brief moment of optimism, which is highlighted in the lyrics. Maybe it's not too late to learn how to love and forget how to hate. So yes, even the Prince of Darkness could embrace the light. So the next tune is Breaking the Law by Judas Priest, released in 1980. So this anthemic classic is off the UK metal band's sixth album, British Steel. And the song expressed the widespread disillusionment many were feeling towards the government and the economy. So concerning this, lead vocalist Rob Halford, he made the following statement concerning the motivation behind the lyrics. He states, there was a time in the UK when there was a lot of strife, a lot of government strife. The miners were on strike, the car unions were on strike, there were street riots. It was a terrible time. That was the incentive for me to write a lyric to try to connect with that feeling that was out there. Our next song on the list is Rodance by Killing Joke, released in 1980. So this is off Killing Joke's self-titled debut. So the band, the album, and the song were all important precursors in the development of industrial metal. And we can hear the influence of Killing Joke in bands like Nine Inch Nails and Ministry. So this song in particular well expresses the Cold War paranoia that many were experiencing. It does that both through the lyrics and the music. So like many songs of this time period, it was definitely heavily influenced by fear of nuclear annihilation. So the next song is Run to the Hills by Iron Maiden, released in 1982. So this classic tune is off the UK's metal band's landmark third album, The Number of the Beast. So the poignant tune deals with the European colonization of native land, and it's highlighted in lyrics like, white men came across the sea, he brought us pain and misery, killed our tribes, killed our creed, he took our gain for his own need. So yes, the song well articulates the injustices that were experienced by indigenous communities and why this is still a source of, you can say, ill will. So the next song is Protest and Survive by Discharge, released in 1982. So this is one of the times where you will get a little bit into semantics, because quite often the UK band is classified as hardcore, but they are considered influential in the development of multiple punk and metal subgenres such as D-beat, crust punk, and grindcore, and thrash. So, semantics debate aside, even if you say it's not metal, there's no arguing that's definitely heavy. So the band was explicitly political. This is best exemplified by this song, Protest and Survive. So we could say that, in a sense, this is the band's mission statement. It should also be noted that this tune was also covered by one of the big four thrash bands, Anthrax. They covered it for their 1991 compilation, Attack the Killer Bees. So the next tune is also, speaking of big four thrash bands, it's One by Metallica, which was released in 1988. So Metallica has a number of contributions to the canon of protest songs. And James Hetfield, his role as a social commentator, it is somewhat overlooked. This tune relates a sobering story of a World War I soldier who is severely wounded. So well depicts the horrors of war. It also features a powerful companion video that incorporates scenes from the 1971 anti-war film, Johnny Got His Gun. So the next song is once again another before thrash band. I'm not sure how Dave Mustaine's going to feel about coming right after Metallica on this list. But the next song is Holy Wars, A Punishment Due by Megadeth, released in 1990. So Megadeth, just like Metallica, is no stranger to politically minded music. So this classic track off their classic fourth studio album, Rust in Peace, Dave Mustaine was inspired to write it in response to the troubles in Northern Ireland. We could say it's a scathing critique of religion's role in wars. So our next song on the list is Killing in the Name by Rage Against the Machine, released in 1992. So yes, when it comes to political music, very few bands are as aggressively political as Rage Against the Machine, especially bands that have achieved a certain level of mainstream success. So I could have easily just made a list of top 10 Rage Against the Machine protest songs, because just about every tune they recorded is a protest song. This tune is probably their most well-known song, and it's off their 1992 self-titled debut. So this is an anthem of the disenfranchised, and it takes pointed aim at racism, incidents of police brutality, and the rallying against the military-industrial complex. It's also good to note that the song was released about 6 months after the 1992 Los Angeles riots, which were in response to the acquittal of the police officers who were involved in the brutal beating of Rodney King. So the situation of racist cops is succinctly expressed with the lyric, "Some of those that work forces are the same burn crosses. So the final song we're going to mention for this list is BYOB by System of a Down. So similar to Rage, just about every song they record is political. For this list, I was also seriously considering Boom off their 2002 album, Steal This Album. And both of these songs, Boom and BYOB, were written in protest of the Iraq War, and both were scathing indictments of the corporate war machine. So BYOB is an acronym for Bring Your Own Bombs. And it's also a play on the acronym Bring Your Own Booze. So it satirically envisions the Iraq War as one big party for the United States. Instead of Jaeger bombs, they drop real ones. So yes, there's a catchy song that you can dance to, but it also has a powerful, hard-hitting message. So that concludes the list of top 10 heavy metal protest songs. And as mentioned, the entire list is going to be posted on the website Ongoing History of ProtestSongs.com, along with a Spotify playlist featuring those 100 tunes. So if you enjoyed this video and you'd like me to make more, like and subscribe. And feel free to protest the list in the comments. As previously mentioned, you can check out more info on the historical developments of protest music on the website Ongoing History of ProtestSongs.com. Thanks for watching, and please stay safe.